Monday Music Motivation. Just give me 1 second to get everything set up and everything shared around and all that good stuff going. But we have some fun stuff to talk about today. As always, we will be going over the sort of motivation template, the goal setting template, like every single week. That's what we're here to do: is set your plan, get your clarinet practice going this week. But the other exciting thing that I need to talk about and tell you about is the great weekend I had recording True Rhythm Mastery. I did a live stream, if you're not aware, a live stream of the recording of my newest course that's going to be coming out called True Rhythm Mastery. It's all about really having a deep understanding of rhythm so that you can sight read better, so that you can look at any rhythm pattern and figure out how it works, so you have a good understanding of how time signatures work. We actually talk about conducting so you can understand what your conductor is doing when they're waving their hands in front of you. It was super valuable. I think a lot of people had some awesome breakthroughs going through it. I had some fantastic comments of people saying how much they enjoyed it and how helpful it was for them. I had a great comment of somebody who was like, "Oh, this exercise seemed a little gimmicky at first, but now actually doing it, it's really inspired and it's going to make a difference." And that was the goal, is to give everybody this information that is really going to make a difference and help in your rhythm playing. Rhythm to me is the number one most important part of music. And I think it's one of the number one things that everybody struggles with a little bit. Most everybody I've really ever met is has a little bit of difficulty figuring out like how to actually play with the metronome successfully, how to actually count different complicated rhythms, how to be able to keep track of the rhythm while also playing the notes and playing the clarinet. So I'm really excited to be putting this course together and be putting it out there. And the reason why I needed to start with this today is for your little inspiration and motivation today. I want to get you watching the replays of the filming of True Rhythm Mastery. Now, I have some good news and I have some bad news. I'm going to start with the bad news first. It's currently 9 a.m. Mountain Time, and the replays are going down at 4 p.m. Mountain Time today. So if I did my math correctly, that's 7 hours from now. The bad news is the filming is 10 hours of replays. So even if you started watching right now and didn't stop until it went down, you wouldn't be able to watch everything that was there. I think you could still get a lot out of it. If you've already watched some of them, maybe you were there live one of the days and you just want to catch up, there's totally still time to do that. Maybe if you're able to skip through some of the questions and the silence, you could get all of the core components of the course, maybe. But it is coming down at 4 p.m. today. I am planning on selling this course as a full priced course when it is all edited together and I have all of the handouts done and all the bonus materials and all of that good stuff. So I can't just leave the recordings of it up forever. But you still have a little bit of time. That's the good news. And the even better news is there is a way for you to access these recordings forever. And that's by becoming a Quick Start Clarinet Denizen. So if you don't know, the Denizens are sort of like my Patreon, or a way to subscribe to Quick Start Clarinet and support the free content that I'm doing and get some incredible rewards as a thanks. Some of the rewards are like input and just acknowledgement in videos, exclusive trainings. That's where these recordings of True Rhythm Mastery are falling under the exclusive trainings category. And this is actually the first main exclusive training that the Denizens are going to be getting, which I think is an incredible value. There's lessons on demand where we can send videos back and forth through Marco Polo and you can get feedback from me. And then we also do strategy sessions where we get on Zoom one-on-one and sort of look at your strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and figure out what's the best plan of action to get the best growth and the best progress on your clarinet journey. So if you like my free content and want to support it, that's a perfect reason to become a Denizen. If you want to get better at the clarinet, that's a perfect reason to become a Denizen. And especially if you want to work with me one-on-one in any capacity, whether it's that asynchronous lessons on demand or actually together in a Zoom on the strategy session. So That's going to be the only way that you can watch all of the replays of this filming if you haven't started watching any of them at all, because again, the replay page is coming down in just 7 hours, and there's 10 hours of replays there for you to watch. But if you go to quickstartclarinet.com/supporter, you can become a denizen as low as $5 a month, gets you this replay. Again, this is going to be like a probably $200 or $300 course when it's done. So getting it for $5 a month, even if it's just a few months and then you can cancel it, is a crazy good value. In fact, let me see if I can do that math real quick. $200 at $5 a month. That means you could be a denizen for 40 months and get the value just out of these replays. So I highly encourage you to do that to get access to these replays forever. You can also go to quickstartclarinet.com/rhythm replay to watch the replays in the last 7 hours that they're going to be up. All those links are in the descriptions of this video if you want to check that out. So that's my big motivation for you, and my big encouragement for you this morning is to not miss the True Rhythm Mastery filming. It was a fantastic time. Again, I think a lot of people got a lot of value out of it, so highly encourage you to check that out. Now, I do also want to talk about our template a little bit and get the goals going for this week. I want to share something that was in my reflection. And again, the template's super simple. You can create it for yourself, or you can go to quickstartclarinet.com/get started. That link's also in the description to download this exact template. But this is what I did for this week. It's the date of the week, the reflection of what went well last week, the goal for this week, and then your plan for when you're actually going to make it happen. So I want to go over my reflection a little bit because I thought it was really interesting. I did this when I was working through the Copland Concerto most recently too, where I dabbled with these pieces a lot. I had learned the first 2 or 3 pages of both the Copland Concerto and the Valerie Coleman Sonatine that I'm working on right now. And I've done the first 2 or 3 pages over and over and over, because when I'm dabbling with it, I always sort of play and learn the first couple pages, and then I put it away for a while because something else comes up that I need to focus on. And then I come back to it a few months later and I have to sort of relearn those first couple pages. They come back more quickly, but always something comes up and I never get past the first 2 or 3 pages. So what I did differently is I'm starting to work from the end going backwards to learn the stuff that I never get to. And it's been really successful. I did one practice session last week on the last 2 pages or so, and it went pretty well and learned pretty quickly. And I think this is a good thing to do in general, even if it's not something you're dabbling with and coming back to it. But working from the end backwards, I always find in a performance, I am really confident in the beginning because that's what I've practiced the most, and always the end is what we've practiced the least. And it always feels like, I wonder what's coming up at the end, or it feels like the end of the piece is this sort of scary, daunting thing because you've never made it there before. But remember, things are only difficult when they're unfamiliar. Once you get familiar with it, it's not a big deal. And by starting with it, you can sort of tackle it when your brain's a little bit more fresh in the practice session, and you'll get used to being really familiar with that as something that you start with rather than the thing that you always end with. So that's my other little piece of advice for you. And the most important, or maybe 2 most important things for today, is go to quickstartclarinet.com/rhythm replay and check out the replays of the rhythm filming, or become a denizen. Even if you're watching this in a while from now and you're always already oh yeah, the replay page is definitely down because I didn't watch this live, you can still become a denizen and you can still get access to those replays because they're going to be available to the denizens forever. So check that out. Go to quickstartclarinet.com/supporter to become a denizen and learn more about that. And then the second most important thing, actually fill out your timeline or your template, get that reflection going, get your goal set for this week, and then schedule it into your calendar so that you're actually taking action and getting it done. So go do that. Have a great week. Watch the replays, and I will see you next Monday for the next